Hey, what's up guys, it's TriggerTrav, we're back. I'm hoping everyone's enjoying the update because I know I have been. Back on Relic today. I've been playing on this map for a little bit. This is my first recorded commentary for it. But speaking of commentary, this is actually my first non-live commentary. I'm doing it for two reasons. One, because halfway through recording my mic came unplugged and I had to redo it and it took a little bit of time, so it just got all messed up. And then two, I actually had some talking points I wanted to touch today on Monarch and what I feel are my personal opinions on her. Now I've had some more time to play with her and try out her different kits and just kind of get a general feel for how she is in terms of playing against each other, like using her myself as well as having to fight against her as well, which we've all been getting a ton of practice with because just about everyone and their mother, as I said last video, is running a Monarch, and Lord knows that's still true. So let's get into the nitty gritty. So with Monarch, I've been trying out her different upgrade paths and stuff and seeing what I like, what I don't, what I feel like is a little bit better, or just trying to get a feel if anything feels too overpowered or if anything feels a little underpowered. So for this match, I went for the upgrade path of the arc bullets for the XO16, rearm and reload for my second upgrade, and then for my third upgrade, I went to the XO16 accelerator, which turns your rate of fire and your damage up by quite a bit. So I've actually started to find that I'm not a huge fan of this setup, just for the fact that I'm actually starting to really prefer the improved chassis for my third core upgrade, and there's a specific reason for that. So when I found as you started to play with Monarch more and more, by the time you get to your third core, it's not super likely that you're gonna be very undamaged. Usually you've taken some hits, you've had to fight some Titans possibly, pilots, you've just taken some damage trying to get there, and you're usually gonna have run out of some of your health bar. Of course you can regenerate your shields, but you're still a little bit lower on your actual chassis health. So what I found is by the time I get back to my third core upgrade and get my accelerator and get my higher damage, higher rate of fire with the arc bullets, I'm not able to survive as long and make use of that as well as I could have because I'm so low on health and I'm gonna die soon. So it's kind of a limited burst of higher efficiency, like for damage and kill output. So I went to the improved chassis. What's really cool about it is you get your shields back. It automatically gets recharged just like any other core upgrade. You get that boost, but along with getting a huge increase in health, like this is actually kind of insane. I don't know if it's a little overpowered. Maybe Respawn will have to tune down how much health she gets on that upgrade. I know it's supposed to be a huge jump, but still it feels like it might be a little bit too much just because of how much your survivability goes up. But I've noticed that you also get an automatic health increase as far as you will regain some of your health back on top of the increased overall capacity. So with this, your survivability goes up. So I've found my favorite kit so far to do is the XO16 arc bullets, just for that higher damage, and you can drain shields, you can drain flame shield. It really helps you out. And then doing rearm and reload, just because having that quick regen of both your missiles and of your siphon really helps out a lot for your survivability to get to your third core, and then the chassis to really just help you stay alive even longer and be able to make use of that little bit of increase you get from the arc bullets in your XO16. And that's what I found to be my best loadout so far. I'm not sure if it's going to be the absolute best. It's just kind of my personal opinion, how I like to play. I get kind of hyper aggressive with Monarch sometimes, so maybe that's why I like it so much. Maybe if I hung back a little bit, I wouldn't notice the difference as much. Maybe I would using the accelerator. But for right now, the improved chassis seems to me to be one of the better third core upgrades that you can use. Still testing out the other ones, so maybe that opinion will change, or maybe it's just, again, depends on your playstyle. So with Monarch, I do have some critiques though. I've been hearing some people saying she's overpowered, and I kind of disagree. So with Monarch, yeah, she has some really good restorative abilities. Her survivability is pretty big. She can put out some high damage. I actually, and I'll talk about this a little bit, but I think she's actually starting to fill more of a Slayer role, or just a high damage output role, more than people thought, or maybe Respawn intended. I'm not really sure. But, so, for my critique, one of the things I feel like keeps Monarch in check is actually her lack of a defensive ability. She doesn't have a shield, she doesn't have a block. Basically, I'm trying to think, except for Northstar, every other Titan in this game has a shield or has a block. I mean, Ronin's sword block absorbs so much damage. Flame Shield is both a damage output and a shield. Vortex, same thing. Legion has that overshield for his cannon. Tone has its regular shield. So her defensive abilities are only her dashes, and she only starts with one stock dash, which is why I put on 2. I like being able to be a little bit more mobile, hyper aggressive, so that helps me with my damage output, but it's also my only option in case I'm having to dodge, you know, anti-Titan weaponry. Especially when people are sending out striker rockets or anything like that, just helps you survive a little bit longer. So that's kind of keeping her in check. And also, I know a lot of people are starting to kind of critique the shield regain that she has from her Siphon ability, but it's actually not that much. So you can charge it up for more of a regain, kind of like you can charge up Ion's laser shot. But if you're doing just a quick tap for a quick amount of shield, by the time you get that shield back, it only gives you another maybe couple seconds if you're already taking damage, like if someone's shooting at you. It only gives you another couple seconds of survivability, because it's really not that much. You can literally just see on that where I got my shield back and then immediately it got taken off almost immediately. And so that's where I'm starting to talk about where that shield regain isn't as powerful as I feel like some people are making it out to be. Yes, it can keep you alive a little bit longer, especially if you're in a doom state, like that's a lifesaver. Especially if you use your core and then you get that full shield recharge. But I don't feel like it's as overpowered as people think. Another point I wanted to make about was her health. So she's a Vanguard class, so she has about the same amount of health as Tone. I'm not sure if the exact same numbers HP wise, but she doesn't have a ton of health from the get-go, so she's not what I would say soft by any means. Like, she's not as soft as Ronin or anything, or Northstar for that matter. But because she doesn't have a defensive capability like Ronin, which helps balance out his softness, you know, he's able to take that damage and absorb it when he has to, and take minimal amounts and kind of escape. She can't really do that, and that's where the decreased amount that you get from the Siphon ability for your shields kind of plays into that, where it kind of keeps her in check a little bit. So I feel like that's another thing where I don't feel like she's super overpowered. I feel like that's where they kind of balanced her a little bit more, just to kind of keep that from being too much of a liability or too much of a crutch. And so another thing I noticed, and I don't know if this is just me personally because of the way I play and what I have my settings on, and I'm so used to playing Ronin. It could be a multitude of personal things, not just a thing with Monarch in general. But I'm having a little bit hard time being accurate with her gun. The XO16 has, I guess, hit scan bullets, so it's not a one-to-one hit, it's a hit scans, but I've also been noticing that I'm still not able to be super accurate, especially near even longer distances, but even shorter ones. Even when I have the arc ability on, that helps out a little bit. But I've been noticing just trying to be a little accurate with it is a little bit difficult for me, so I don't know if that's just because of me personally. It probably is just me sucking. And I gotta get a little used to it because I'm so used to playing Ronin with a shotgun. But that's just another little key thing. I don't know if they maybe made that a little bit floatier, a little bit more inaccurate, just to help out with her damage output and keep her balanced. So maybe that's another one. And lastly, just a quick one, kind of a personal observation. I don't know if it's because Monarch dropped and everyone's super wary of a new Titan and it has all his regen abilities and everything, but you kind of become a big target once you drop your Titan. And I know Titans are basically big targets themselves anyway. Whenever one drops, most players will hop on that and try to get a Titan killed as quick as possible, but I don't know if it's because you're a Monarch or if it's just because a new Titan dropped in general or something, but it seems like as soon as someone knows there's a Monarch around, they all go in for her, and because of her low health, if you don't have that improved chassis upgrade for your third core activated, you're kind of soft and you can die very quickly. So that's just another key little thing I've been noticing. I don't know if that's a community thing or just me being a little hypersensitive about it and overthinking it, but another thing to keep in mind. So basically, with all these critiques and kind of general sort of observations I've made about Monarch so far, one thing I've noticed is, and I would kind of say this is like a general opinion, I'm not sure if it'll prove true as time goes on, she gets nerfed, buffed, or maybe just as things calm down with her and people kind of go back to using other Titans more and she becomes less used. But she can definitely fit a Slayer or a high damage role with the right kind of upgrade path that I was running before with the XO16 arc bullets and the accelerator. That's a high damage output, but even when you put on the improved chassis, I almost feel like that's more of a high damage output just because of how much longer you're able to sustain putting out damage with your gun and being able to just be a pain in the other team's side because you're just using one Titan for so much longer. So her survivability is key. I feel like that's where will kind of determine how well a player is with her, is how long they can survive using her and get up in those upgrades. Because if you only get up to the first upgrade or maybe even second, you're getting improvements and you're being stronger, but you're not becoming a super powerhouse yet. It's only until you get to that third core, and depending on what you use and how your playstyle meshes with that you become kind of a powerhouse. So and that kind of leads into my second point, where she was kind of classified as a support Titan with all her abilities, being able to give your teammates shields and stuff, but I don't feel like that's kind of happening right now. I'm kind of feeling like because of the buffs you're able to give to yourself personally, individually, that the support stuff is kind of taking a backseat. I haven't really seen in any of my matches, I can't even think off the top of my head of any, where I've seen anyone using the supportive abilities. So that's kind of something I don't know if maybe they'll buff that or kind of dumb down her own self buffing abilities to kind of make it so people use her more as a support class, because that's kind of what she was billed as a little bit more so than a Slayer. But we'll have to see what happens as time goes on. But she's very flexible for all different play styles. She's got a lot of things going for her, which I think is one thing a lot of people like, is her customizable attributes. So for me, I definitely say she's in more of one of the top slots as a Titan so far right now in these just very brief couple days we've had with her. But I really like her a lot. I don't know if I'll stick with her as a main. I'm not sure if I'll ever be a Monarch main because I love my Ronin to death. I'll probably go back to him real quick. But Monarch, love her to death. I think she has high potential to be a huge asset to a team, especially as a damage output if you get her upgraded. But yeah, that's just my general opinion. We'll see how it goes once things die down, time goes on, But thanks for checking out the video, guys. I'm going to leave you. I'll see you on the next video, hopefully with Ronin. Peace.